The smell of the sweat is not sweet, but the fruit of the sweat is very sweet. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. With one day's reading, a man may have the key in his hands. It was the living who ignored the strange and wonderful, because life was too full of the boring and mundane. If you try and lose, then it isn't your fault. But if you don't try and we lose, then it's all your fault. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. In life, you always see the darkest days before the sunshine. There are some experiences in life they haven't invented the right words for. Knowledge is responsibility, which is why people resist knowledge. It is wise to keep in mind that neither success nor failure is ever final. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. It's amazing how easy the truth is to accept, no matter how strange. Don't lose your heart when things are uncertain. Instead, let it be the compass that guides you back to your truest self. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. We all live inside the terrible engine of authority, and it grinds and shrieks and burns so that no one will say, lines on maps are silly. You know, there's no such thing as a complete lie. There's always some truth in there. Be with someone who inspires you and makes you be the best version of yourself. Believe in your heart that you're meant to live a life full of passion, purpose, magic, and miracles. We all have stories we tell ourselves until we believe them to be true. It is much easier to be brave if you do not know everything. No one really knows why they are alive until they know what they die for. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. The decision is your own voice, and opinion is the echo of someone else's voice. Law is made by the winner to preserve victory over the loser. Dogs are not our whole life, but they make our lives whole. The only thing that can grow is the thing you give energy to. Politics determines who has the power, not who has the truth. I wanted to figure out why I was so busy, but I couldn't find the time to do it. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. Act 2. The truth always carries the ambiguity of the words used to express it. Books have a way of finding their way into our lives, usually right when we need them the most. Communism is the final logic of the dehumanization of man. If you want to turn your life around, start enjoying the little things in life with a big, big smile. Life doesn't always give us the choices we want. All we can do is make the best of things. I actually like how doctors talk. I like the sound of science. I like how words you don't understand explain things you can't understand. If you would not be forgotten, as soon as you are dead and rotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. Persistence, perfection, patience, power. Prioritize your passion. It keeps you sane. It is too difficult to think nobly when one thinks only of earning a living. The trouble with fiction, said John Rivers, is that it makes too much sense. Reality never makes sense. You only get one life. Live it to the fullest. All your miseries will be forgiven when you will be dead. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. A miracle is often the willingness to see the common in an uncommon way. And whatever my life had been up to that day, it was another life after that. And that is the gospel truth. We are supposed to call poison medicine, and we wonder why we're always sick. There is nothing impossible to they who will try. Faith is not belief in spite of evidence, but a life in scorn of the consequences. My happiness grows in direct proportion to my acceptance, and in inverse proportion to my expectations. Learn from your past, use the possibilities of the present moment, and let the future open the doors of opportunity. Every problem is an opportunity for a solution. More at qpe.co.in. For it is scars that show us where we've been. Let them not dictate where we are going. I believe that words are strong, that they can overwhelm what we fear when fear seems more awful than life is good. Even if people do not understand you, at least they do not possess the same ability as your bizarre uniqueness. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Of all sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these, "It might have been." It is not the failure of others to appreciate your abilities that should trouble you, but rather your failure to appreciate theirs. With ordinary talent and extraordinary perseverance, all things are attainable. Though the road's been rocky, it sure feels good to me. You need to have faith in yourself. Be brave and take risks. You don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. If there was anything that depressed him more than his own cynicism, it was that quite often it still wasn't as cynical as real life. You must learn to let go. Release the stress. You were never in control anyway. The longer we live, the more weight we carry in our hearts. Doubting your judgments is the beginning of enlightenment. The moon stared at me through sprinkled nighttime stardust, and I alone smile. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. Fear is a probability by its own cause of actions. If we live by it, we lose all the possibilities of endurance. My point is, life is about balance. The good and the bad, the highs and the lows, the pina and the colada. In the face of adversity, we have a choice. We can be bitter, or we can be better. Those words are my North Star. Miss Abbott, don't worry over me. Some people are born not to do things. I'm one of them. Learn to live deeply and realize that all experiences, good or bad, are transient and opportunities for liberation. The world is wide, and I will not waste my life in friction when it could be turned into momentum. When you chase a dream, you learn about yourself. You learn your capabilities and limitations, and the value of hard work and persistence. Concern yourself not with what you tried and failed in, but with what is still possible to do. The thing about lying to your parents is, you have to do it to protect them. It's for their own good. Our ability to adapt is amazing. Our ability to change isn't quite as spectacular. A paranoid is someone who knows a little of what's going on. Never let doubt guide your life's compass. As shadows fade once hope is found. There's no point having wishes if you don't at least try to do them. The truth is that judgment and fear will never stop, but they don't actually do anything. Life doesn't just happen to you. You receive everything in your life based on what you've given. In the haunted house of life, art is the only stair that doesn't creak. You'll never reach perfection because there's always room for improvement. Yet get along the way to perfection, you'll learn to get better. Do nothing and nothing happens. Life is about decisions. You either make them or they're made for you, but you can't avoid them. The prettiest flowers earn their honor in the ugliest dirt. Know that bad character and attitude can block people from seeing the skill, talent, or potential you have. It doesn't matter how great your shoes are if you don't accomplish anything in them. Don't plan or make a financial decision that is dependent on another person without letting them know first. Make your interactions with people transformational, not just transactional. To escape fear, you have to go through it, not around. A man may say, "From now on I'm going to speak the truth." But the truth hears him and runs away and hides before he's even done speaking. The windows of my soul I throw wide open to the sun. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. As far as I am concerned, philosophic questioning is just as likely to make you confused and depressed as it is to improve your condition. Maybe this is why we read, and why in moments of darkness we return to books, to find words for what we already know. What doesn't quicken dies. That's an indisputable truth of life. You do not immortalize the lost by writing about them. Language buries, but does not resurrect. The most important thing is this: to be able at any moment to be free to choose a life that makes you happy. The moon and the stars shine, even when the clouds hide the sunbeams. To find what you seek in the road of life, the best proverb of all is that which says, "Leave no stone unturned." Growth isn't a series of mistakes. That's the only way you learn. Life is worth living as long as there's a laugh in it.